Hello and welcome back to Social7Skills. Today we will be looking at our final lesson in emotional and social intelligence. Over the last 3 lessons, we have installed 3 critical upgrades to our human operating system. Self-awareness helped us understand our own code. Self-management gave us the tools to debug our reactions. And social awareness allowed us to start reading the data from others. But data is useless until you act on it. Today we install the 4th and final upgrade for this module, empathy and relationship management. This is the master skill that brings all the others together. It's where we move from simply understanding the people around us to actively building strong, positive, and resilient connections with them. So what's the problem? The problem is that in our modern, fast-paced world, building and maintaining genuine relationships has become incredibly difficult. We're surrounded by people, but many of us feel a sense of loneliness, even isolation. We have plenty of contacts, but few real connections. There are a few reasons for this. First, as adults, we lose the organic opportunities for friendships that we had in school. Our interactions become more transactional and scheduled. Second, we often engage in what's called covert avoidance. We tell ourselves we're too busy for that coffee with a colleague or a team lunch. But in reality, what we're really doing is avoiding the social effort it takes to connect. In the workplace, this leads to what some call a culture chasm. This arises when there is a gap between the collaborative culture a company says it wants and the transactional siloed reality that employees experience. Without intentional effort, our professional relationships can become shallow and fragile. This hurts trust, slows down collaboration, and ultimately damages our own career satisfaction. The solution to this problem of disconnection is twofold: practicing empathy and deliberately building our relationship management skills. First, let's understand empathy. Empathy is more than just feeling sorry for someone. True empathy involves 3 distinct components. Number 1, cognitive empathy. This is the ability to understand someone's perspective on an intellectual level. It's our theory of mind in action. Number 2, emotional empathy. This is the ability to feel what someone else is feeling, to share their emotional experience. And number 3, compassionate empathy. This is the most active form. It's when you are moved to take action and help someone based on your understanding of their feelings. The promise of this lesson is that you can become an architect of your own social world. By practicing these skills, you can move from a passive hope for good relationships to an active strategy for building them. The ultimate goal is to create what researchers call a social convoy. It's what some people would call a posse. This is a core group of trusted friends, mentors, and colleagues who support you through the journey of your life and career. Your social convoy is a powerful predictor of both professional success and personal well-being. So, how do we build these connections? Here is a practical 4-step roadmap for developing empathy and managing your personal and professional relationships. Step 1, practice active and empathic listening. This is the single most important relationship building skill. It goes beyond just hearing words. It's about mindfully listening in order to truly understand the other person. This means paying full attention, withholding judgment, and reflecting on what the other person is saying to ensure you understand. A key technique is to listen for the feelings behind the words and not just the facts. Step 2, learn the art of building rapport. Rapport is that feeling of connection and mutual understanding you have with someone. You can build rapport intentionally using a few key techniques. First, ask great questions. Focus on open-ended questions that invite a real conversation, not just a yes or no answer. Second, practice matching and mirroring. This is subtly matching another person's body language, tone of voice, or tempo. When done genuinely, it creates a powerful subconscious feeling of being in sync with that person. But a word of caution, don't try to fake this. People can spot fake empathy from a mile away. Your concern must be genuine and authentic. But third, find common ground. Look for shared experiences, interests, or values that can serve as a foundation for the relationship. Step 3, make respect an action, not just a feeling. Respect in the workplace must be more than an abstract value. It needs to be a daily practice. This means showing unconditional, positive regard for your colleagues, even when you disagree with them. It means giving people your full attention, acknowledging their contributions, and always assuming good intent. This active form of respect is the foundation of psychological safety and trust on a team. Step 4, be proactive and consistent. Building strong relationships requires effort. Don't wait for the perfect time to connect. Schedule regular check-ins with your colleagues. Turn small talk into real conversation. The secret to making connections is simple, but not easy. It requires consistent, repeated interaction over time. Let's check in one last time with our case study, Maria. Having worked on her self-awareness, self-management, and social awareness, she's now ready to put it all together. She notices that her junior team member, David, seems to be struggling after a tough project review. The old Maria might not have even noticed, but the new Maria decides to act. Maria uses her social awareness to see David's struggle. She uses her self-management to put aside her own busy schedule. She uses empathy to imagine how David must be feeling. And she uses relationship management to proactively schedule a time to chat. In that meeting, she doesn't just talk. She uses active listening to understand David's concerns and build rapport by sharing a story of one of her own early career struggles. She ends by offering her support and creating a plan to help him develop his skills. In that one interaction, Maria has transformed from a taskmaster into a true leader and mentor. She has not only helped her colleague, but she has also added a strong, supportive link to her own social convoy. Your final challenge for this module is to take the first small step in this process. Identify one person in your network you'd like to build a stronger relationship with and schedule a 15-minute chat with them this week. If you can do that over coffee, even better. Don't have a big agenda. Just be curious and practice listening. Your student resources for this lesson contain a relationship management skills primer with lots of great ideas for developing your relationship skills. Remember, developing strong, healthy relationships is not hard, but it requires consistent and intentional effort on our part. Thank you for watching. You have now completed the 4 core upgrades for a more powerful and effective human operating system. I hope this module on emotional and social intelligence has helped you gain a better understanding of yourself and the people around you. This completes Module 1. In our next lesson, we will begin Module 2, examining the crucial social skill of problem solving. Thank you for joining me as we take a few minutes to consider some of the spiritual implications of this lesson. When we talk about empathy and relationship management, what we're really talking about is love. The word love, at least in the English language, is a very ambiguous word, and at the same time, it is very emotionally charged. I love my children and grandchildren, but I also love pepperoni pizza. I have feelings, even deep-seated feelings for both. I could even go so far as to say that I have an emotional attachment to both my children and grandchildren and to pepperoni pizza. And I use the same word, love, to describe those feelings for both. But my actual feelings for pepperoni pizza are very different from my feelings for my children and grandchildren. I bring this up because this ambiguity forces us to be very cautious about how and where and with whom we use the word love. If I work with someone, I would have to be very careful about saying I love you to that person, or using the word love to describe my relationship with that person. Unless someone understands exactly what I mean by the word love, that word can be misconstrued very easily. And yet, when we are talking about empathy and the basis for our relationships, even relationships at work, we're actually talking about love. Not in a romantic sense, of course, but in a very practical sense. As I mentioned in the last spiritual reflection, Jesus taught us to treat other people the way we would want to be treated. That is love in action. He taught us to love others in the same way that we love ourselves. Again, that is love in action. And Jesus did not place any restrictions on the need to love others. Love is not restricted to our family or to romantic partners. We are to love everyone in every situation. The lesson gave us numerous ways to build and strengthen our relationships. One of the most powerful ways to do that is through empathy. At its heart, empathy is built on love. Empathy is all about caring for another person deeply enough to take the time and make the effort necessary to truly understand that person. Not just on a clinical level, like a doctor or a psychologist might try to understand a patient. The goal of empathy is to truly understand a person on a personal level. The lesson talked about 3 types of empathy: cognitive, emotional, and compassionate. In other words, knowing, feeling, and doing. When taken together, these 3 elements enable us to build strong, healthy relationships that are mutually beneficial. The lesson also gave us numerous practical steps that we can take to put empathy into practice. Things such as active listening, building rapport, and showing respect for others, even when you disagree with them. You may not have thought of these acts as love, but they are. You may not be able to walk up to your coworker and say, "I love you," but in your head, you can know that you do. In your heart, you can feel love for that person. And through your actions, you can show love in ways that words could never express. Thanks again for joining me. As I said at the end of the lesson, I hope that our study of emotional and social intelligence has helped you to better understand yourself and the people around you. It is my prayer that together we can help make this world a better place for us all.